Good morning, grade 10. Again, this is Teacher Mitch, your English teacher. Have you watched the short movie clip? It was the story written by O. Henry after 20 years. And it focuses on the reunion of two old friends, Jimmy and Bob. Through their brief encounter, the two explore the theme of friendship, loyalty, and trust. After 20 Years is written by William Sidney Porter, or commonly known as O. Henry. So who is William Sidney Porter, or O. Henry? O. Henry was an American writer whose short stories are known for wit, wordplay, and clever twist endings. He wrote nearly 600 stories about life in America, and his stories expressed the effect of coincidence on a character through humor, grim or ironic, and often had a surprise ending. He was born on September 11, 1862 and died on June 5, 1910. So again, a short story have five elements or five key elements. I know you already know about this, just a short review. So character, setting, plot, conflict, and theme. So character, of course, it is a person or even animals that act in the story. Next, the setting, the place or the time and place where the story happens. Of course, the plot is a series of events. Conflict, this is a struggles between two or more people in the story. How about the theme? The central idea or belief in the story. Before I introduce to you the story of O. Henry after 20 years, I will just give you a brief review about the three kinds of character. So we have the individual or round, developing or dynamic, and static. So first, we have to differentiate dynamic versus static. All right, so dynamic character is a person who changes over time, usually as a result of resolving a central conflict or facing a major crisis. How about static? It is a character or it is a someone who does not change over time. His or her personality does not transform or evolve. Again, dynamic changes over time. Static does not change over time. Let's have some examples. Okay, so are you familiar with Katniss and President Snow? So they are the characters in Hunger Games. So Katniss is considered a dynamic character and President Snow is considered as a static character. Let's find out why. So Katniss entered the Hunger Games only to rescue her sister and her family, but at the end of the story, she cares about seeing the destruction of Capitan. While President Snow, from the beginning until the end of the story, he never changes as a villain. Alright, so dynamic versus static. So individual or rounded character is anyone who has a complex personality and of course often portrayed as a conflicted or contradictory person. So it is a well-developed character in the story. Like for example, Harry Potter. So J.K. Rowling develops Harry Potter as a round character throughout the series. So the reader learns about Harry, his background, his feelings, and many more. Now let's go to plot of the story. So a plot has three basic parts. First, the beginning, the middle, and the end. So these are arranged in logical or chronological order. And a plot is composed of five important parts. So first we have the expository or the exposition or the introduction. It is the beginning of the story where characters and setting are introduced. Next is we have the rising action. So it is where the main character faces a series of conflicts. So next, the climax. It is the most exciting part of the story. And of course, when it is where or when we'll learn the outcome. Next is the falling action. So events leading to the end of the story. And finally, we have the resolution or the end of the story. Now we're done with the characters and the plot. This time, we're going to analyze the plot of the short story After 20 Years by O. Henry. So, expository. So, the characters Jimmy and Bob are introduced in the street of New York on the windy night at 10 p.m. Now we have the rising action. So, Bob had a conversation with the policeman. He explained that he is waiting for his friend Jimmy. He said that they had a promise that after 20 years, they will meet at the exact place where they had their last dinner together. After hearing Bob's story about the friend's pledge to meet up again and watching him light up a cigar, Jimmy recognizes it's Bob. He also realizes that his old friend, Bob, is a fugitive from Chicago. At that point, Bob isn't aware that the policeman is Jimmy, who goes about his patrol. Now we have the climax. The policeman left, and after 20 minutes of waiting, Bob's friend Jimmy already arrived at the meeting place. They were talking to each other and began walking in front of the lights of drugstore. So that's the climax. Now let's have the next. Now falling action. So this is the time when Jimmy recognized that it was not Bob. He said 20 years in a long time, but not long enough to change a man's nose from a Roman to a pug. Now we have the resolution or the ending of the story. So the man reveals that he is a plainclothes officer taking Bob under arrest. Before he does, he hands Bob a note from the patrolman who turns out to be his former best friend and betrayer, Jimmy. That's the end of the story. And how do you feel about the ending of the story? All right. Are you surprised with the ending of the story? It has a twist, and of course, O. Henry is known for his surprise ending. Now let's find out what are the theme of the story. So first we have friendship. So the story first introduces the friendship theme when Bob attempts to justify his presence to the policeman. And of course, he talks about Jimmy Wells with pride and praises. So let's read this. Jimmy Wells, my best chap and the finest chap in the world. Alright, so next we have loyalty. So from the beginning, it's obvious that Jimmy takes pride in his work. Thus, it is no surprise that he chooses loyalty to his work over his friendship with Bob. However, he still and considering their friendship by sending someone else to arrest his friend rather than to arrest Bob himself. So that is loyalty. So here, the policeman on the beat move up the avenue impressively. So it talks about loyalty with his work. So through the twist ending, the story affirms the power of mere human connection that creates friendship so strong to withstand 20 years in all ways. So sometimes one of the most difficult lesson or one of the most difficult decision in our life is to choose between our loyalty with our work and our friendship. So that is the story of O. Henry after 20 years. All right. Now let's have the second part of our discussion. It is the argumentative essay. So we're going to find out what is about argumentative essay. So what is argumentative essay? So it refers to everything that involves debate, a possible disagreement, and opinions. So it is an essay that uses evidence and fact to support the claiming it's making. Its purpose is to persuade the reader to agree with the argument being made. It also allows the writers to express their ideas and opinions about certain issues. And it requires to pick a side of an argument and uses logic and facts to convince the readers. So what are the features of an argumentative essay? So first, you may agree or disagree with a given proposition. Next, it generally requires a clean thesis, main idea rather, which is followed by sound reasoning from the writer's viewpoint. So there are three things that you may discuss in your argumentative essay. So first, the advantages and disadvantages. Second, the opinion or provide solution. And lastly, you have to decide whether you are for or against an argument. All right, so let's have the next. Now let's have the structure of argumentative essay. First is the introduction. So it contains the thesis statement and outline sentence. So in thesis statement, this is where you will state your general opinion of the argument and provide the background knowledge to the issue. Next is your outline sentence. So next inside the introduction is your outline sentence. You have to tell the readers what to expect from your essay. Next, we have the main point. So main points contains a topic sentence and supporting details. All right. So topic sentence, this is where you will write your support in your thesis statement. And each paragraph must have a topic sentence and supporting details. So lastly, we have the conclusion. So conclusion, it is you have to restate your points and to straighten your stand. Since all topics in the argument essay are all about current issues, so you have or you may use the present tense of the verb. So let's have some examples of introduction. So this is an example of introduction. As online learning becomes more common and more resources are converted to digital form, some people have suggested that public libraries should be shut down and their place everyone should be given an iPad with an e-reader subscription. So that is an example of introduction. And this is the body. However, it would be a serious mistake to replace libraries with tablets. First, digital books and resources are associated with less learning and more problems than print resources. A study done on a tablet versus book reading found that people read 20 to 30% slower on tablets, retain 20% less information, and understand 10% less of what they read compared to people who read the information in print. So that is an example of a body. Next we have. So here is an example of conclusion. So let's read. While replacing libraries with tablets may seem like a simple solution, it would encourage people to spend even more time looking at digital screens, despite the myriad issues surrounding them. It would also end access to many of the benefits of libraries that people have come to rely on. In many areas, libraries are such an important part of community network that they could never be replaced by a simple object. So, conclusion, it is where you have to restate your opinion and to stand with the main points. All right. So that's the end of our pre-recorded lesson for this week. So see you on our live discussion. Bye everyone. Have a nice day.